We are living smack in the middle of an AI revolution, right? But what if this incredible new mind we're building isn't really an elegant brain, but more of a brute? Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on the hidden architecture behind all that AI magic. And I mean, we've all seen it. AI can whip up poetry, it can paint masterpieces, it can hold conversations that, let's be honest, feel shockingly human. It really does feel like a totally new form of intelligence has finally arrived. But what if I told you that underneath all that incredible stuff, the very foundation of modern AI is less like a sophisticated, elegant brain and a lot more like a powerful, clumsy, brute force machine? Let's dive in. Okay, so first, let's just acknowledge the AI miracle itself, because what we're seeing are genuine, mind-blowing breakthroughs. And it turns out they were all made possible by one single, pretty radical idea. But to really get the hidden cost of this miracle, we have to go inside this brute force mind that's driving it all. And believe it or not, the key to the whole thing starts with a really, really simple sentence. So look at this. The bee landed on the flower because it wanted nectar. Your brain, my brain, we instantly know what it refers to. It's the bee, obviously. But for decades, this was just unbelievably difficult for computers to figure out. You know, the old AI would try to read word by word, and it would just get lost. The huge breakthrough came in 2017 from a Google paper with this awesome title, Attention is All You Need. And the core idea here is just sheer brute force. Instead of reading in a nice, neat line, this new kind of AI, called a transformer, just compares every single word to every other word in the sentence, all at once. To figure out it smashes that word up against bee, flower, nectar, all of them, to see which connection is strongest. And you know what? It worked brilliantly. But it came with a hidden and, frankly, staggering cost. And this right here, this is the crucial part. The amount of work the computer has to do doesn't just increase, it explodes. If you double the length of a document, the AI does 4 times the work. If you make it 10 times longer, it's doing 100 times the work. Now, the creators, they knew this was inefficient, but they made a very deliberate trade-off. They sacrificed elegance for raw power that they could spread across thousands of computer chips at once. So the fundamental principle, the philosophy of the AI mind is to just process everything, leave no stone unturned, no matter how much it costs computationally. Now let's see how that stacks up against the OG intelligence. Okay, so now let's talk about the elegant original, the human brain, because its approach could not possibly be more different. I mean, it is a complete 180, a total philosophical reversal. Because here's the brain's secret. Its superpower isn't really processing information, it's ignoring it. Deep inside your brain, there's a structure called the thalamus, and it basically acts like a bouncer at a really exclusive club, just blocking almost everything from ever reaching your conscious mind. So while AI's attention is busy comparing every single word, your brain is actively, aggressively ignoring every unimportant detail so that you can focus. It is the literal definition of finesse versus brute force. And this huge difference in philosophy, process everything versus ignore almost everything. We can understand it with a really powerful analogy from way back in the Industrial Revolution. So back in 1712, the Newcomen Steam Engine was an absolute miracle. It was also wildly, laughably inefficient. It wasted over 99% of its energy. So why on earth was it a success? Simple. It was built right at the mouth of the coal mine where fuel was basically free. Today's AI? It's the Newcomen engine of our time, a revolutionary but primitive brute that only really works because it's plugged directly into the modern coal mine, the massive data center. So, what is the actual real-world price of this incredible inefficiency? Let's look at the numbers. Okay, get this. Your brain runs on about 20 watts of power. That's less than a dim light bulb. A supercomputer with the same raw processing power, 21 million watts. Just let that sink in for a second. The AI approach is 1 million times less energy efficient than the biological proof of concept that's sitting right inside your head. I mean, that just perfectly illustrates the chasm between these two designs. Now, we hear a lot about the massive energy cost to train these big AI models. But the bigger problem, the one that's growing, is something called inference. That's the energy used for all the everyday stuff. Every single time you ask a chatbot a question or generate an image, that is the part that's just growing exponentially. All that energy creates an insane amount of heat, which means you need water to cool it all down. A lot of water. In just 1 year, Google's water consumption jumped to 5.6 billion gallons. A huge chunk of that was just to keep its AI data centers from literally melting. To put it another way, having a short little chat with an AI can use up an entire bottle of water. And this brings us to the buried lead of the whole story. This immense cost, all this energy and water, well, it isn't shared equally. So the real question is, who is footing the bill for all of this? Here's the uncomfortable truth. The convenience that we get to experience, well, it's being directly paid for by rising electricity bills and polluted air for communities that, frankly, see very little of the actual benefit. And the source material gives some pretty stark examples. In Boxtown, Memphis, a predominantly Black community is now dealing with pollution from new gas turbines that are powering an AI data center. And in Northern Virginia, the local utility is predicting that residential electricity bills will have to more than double just to pay for all the grid upgrades needed to power the booming AI industry there. So here's the bottom line. There is a straight, direct, causal line from an abstract architectural decision that was made in a research paper back in 2017, that choice to process everything, to the very real possibility of polluted air and a higher electricity bill for ordinary people. Look, the AI revolution is absolutely here, and its capabilities are incredible. But this analysis, it forces us to ask a really critical question. It's not just about what this amazing technology can do. It's about the primitive brute force way that it does it, and who, ultimately, is the one paying the price for that inefficiency.